Welcome in, Texas Longhorns fans. How are you feeling about the impending new college football playoff rankings that will come out this week, and where you think the Texas Longhorns should fall into said rankings? Well, wherever that is, we've got a little bit of college football spice cooking up here as we await those rankings, courtesy of two head football coaches that are flat in the college football playoff conversation, Steve Sarkisian and Mario Cristobal. Of course, Sark went on his now famous 24-hour media campaign on Monday, pounding the table for Texas to make the college football playoff. And while he was mostly talking up his team, he slipped in a very subtle, and by subtle, I mean not subtle at all, jab at the Miami Hurricanes. The quote was, "Throw fade route touchdowns with 38 seconds to go when you're ahead 31-7 so the score looks better." End quote. So the Hurricanes just happened to throw a fade touchdown with 38 seconds left in a 38-7 win over Pitt. So yes, that is clearly what Sark was referencing, and he was clearly directing that at the Hurricanes and Cristobal. But Cristobal wasn't going to have any of it. When asked about the comment, he immediately fired right back, basically saying, "Hey, Steve, before you start criticizing other teams, maybe look at how they handled a common opponent." Of course, he meant Florida. So Cristobal pointed out the obvious here. Miami dominated the Gators 27-6, and the Longhorns did not. They lost 29-21 in the Swamp, and he didn't sugarcoat it either. He said Miami dominated Florida, while Florida dominated Texas. So that's kind of a hard counterpunch, and honestly, though, he's not wrong. Now, look, one common opponent does not define the resumes for either one of these teams who looks like are fighting for the same playoff spot. But the Florida game, really, for Texas is the biggest what-if of the season. If Texas had handled business, we'd be talking about a 10-2 Texas team with their only losses to Ohio State and Georgia, and they'd be a lock to make the college football playoff. Instead, Texas waits, hopes, and prays for more chaos. Could the Longhorns land one spot ahead of the Miami Hurricanes on Selection Sunday? Absolutely. Will it be enough to sneak Texas into the playoff? Probably not. But cross all of your fingers and all of your toes if you are able to physically accomplish such a feat. One thing, though, is for sure that Sark and Cristobal's beef is now officially on the record, and we will continue to monitor that as we continue to monitor the chances of the Longhorns getting into the college football playoff for 2025. I am IndyCarTim. Until next time, boys and girls, we'll see you.